Hi, Stuart. Hi, Lokesh.
Hi, Saloni.
Hey,
Hi, Stuart.
Lokesh.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Shnali.
Hello.
Would Stuart or Shnali, you want to like to introduce yourself quickly?
I'm happy to start. So, Stuart Mowbray, I work for the Department of Transport for Queensland. I'm really just starting off with my journey into UiPath, so the first sessions I've attended. So, yeah, really interested to see what's going on and hopefully learn a thing or two.
That's awesome, Stuart. Welcome to UiPath.
Hi. Yes, I'm Chenuli. I'm a junior business analyst in the automation space. And I'm always looking out for any UiPath events that come up. So, yeah, keen to just learn and just get some more information on this.
Great, Shnali. Where are you joining from?
I'm joining from Tekala.
All right, great. Hi, Rohini, Vinod. Rohini, Vinod, do you want to
Hi.
introduce
Hi.
yourself? Hi, Rohini. Feel free also to probably share your introduction in chat. So whatever suits you best.
Yeah, sure. I'm Rohini. Like, I'm working in Roboyo. Yeah, I just want to explore the different technologies provided by UiPath. These sessions will be great to hear. That's why.
Great, Rohini.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thanks.
joining.
Yeah.
Okay. If others want to just quickly drop their introduction in the chat, basically, this is more of an understanding of the various people across the globe to see how many people are interested in UiPath, if we can help them. So that's what this community events are all about. So it's more of an interactive session. So that's where we want to empower everybody to share their experiences, the experience with UiPath, automation, everything. Feel free to pitch in or share your experiences when we are having the discussion. But we'll kick off. I'll quickly introduce myself and the agenda of this session. So my name is Saloni Juneja. I am based out in Adelaide, Austria, and I belong to team Pernix, which is a South Australian-based company. It's basically we're into consulting. We do a lot of consulting for automations, AI, ML. We also do a lot work in data analytics. So Lokesh, which is also on the call with me, would also introduce himself. But overall, we are doing a lot of automations using UiPath in terms of using various other platforms, document intelligence, task mining, process mining, all the discovery tools. Also doing some work in AI Center. So yeah, that's where we are. Lokesh, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, everyone. Myself, Lokesh. So I have 5 years of experience using UiPath and various different technologies like Mule, RPA, and Power Automate as well. So in the RPA space, so I'm only mainly focused on UiPath. We have invested in multiple technology, like multiple tools inside the UiPath, where, as Salani mentioned, we used AI Center, document intelligence, document understanding, and we are exploring more of the Gen AI stuff as well. So as of now, like we are mostly focusing on the task mining and task capture of for and mostly the discovery part of the automation. Yep. So to you, Saloni.
Thank you, Lokesh. So how we have actually planned the next 60 minutes is that usually, our sessions, because we are also starting with discovery sessions fresh from Adelaide, we start with a lot of basic stuff, like, we start from some stuff that is very easy for people to relate, who are starting their career in UiPath, like, Stuart was mentioning and Rohit was mentioning that you want to learn keep some of the sessions basic. And then we see that there is a lot of interest within the team members to understand more of discovery tools. Go into maybe the intermediate and advanced sessions in coming future. So today's session will introduce you to task mining. Basically, if you have never used this tool, we'll just give you an overview of this tool and help you understand what its role is in the automation discovery. So in the last session, if some of you could not join, I also covered about the different discovery tools. Like, we have got 4 of them, which is Automation Hub, Task Mining, Process Mining, and Communication Mining. I just explained Automation Hub more in that particular session. So basically, we are doing more of a discovery sessions in the entire November to touch on each of these tools. So last week we covered Automation Hub. Today we are covering Task Mining. The next week is Process Mining, and then next to next is Communication Mining. So it's more of understanding of all these tools that we want to provide to the BAs as well as developers who would be looking into these tools. So that's the introduction. From that, we will also try to touch upon 2 different task mining instances, I would say. One is assisted and unassisted. So we'll share what are the key differences and what is the right time to use which of the tool. So we've got kind of a segregation. Then I would pass on to Lokesh, who would share how do you actually set up task mining. Like, if you have got automation cloud, where exactly you go and find this tool and start using it. And then we'll do a live demonstration of creating traces and then showing how we can merge those traces to understand actually what are the processes all about. So that's a quick overview of what we will be covering. Feel free to drop all your questions when we are talking. So don't wait for the end. If you have any questions, just raise it up front. We'll be happy to answer. So moving to the first slide, which is on understanding how work gets done. So just to give you an overview of task mining, what are we trying to achieve actually? So because it's part of the discovery, it's very important even before we start developing, we understand what the process we actually need to automate or implement. So that's what all the discovery tools are actually all about. It's more about discovering the tool, understanding where there is a benefit to actually automate it, and then also make even the management aware about where your process is going right, where your process is going wrong. Is there a scope for transformation? So that's all that we will actually do in discover even before we start implementing. So task mining is one of that particular tool which helps discover. uh, and why we actually need these task mining, because usually any kind of AI or RPA or all these technologies are applied to a process. Now we need to understand how the people are doing this process. And these people are actually who are the ones delivering all the tasks. So we need to understand what are they trying to deliver in terms of their tasks. So that's exactly the first thing that we have to understand even before we start processing. And then there is a right way of doing things, there is a wrong way. When I'm saying wrong way, maybe there are certain steps which are not required, but maybe we are doing. So this kind of discovery with task mining also helps you understand what is actually we want to achieve. So there is a right process. So we will actually benchmark that, and then we'll see where the different variations are. That's what it talks about in the third step, that what are the bottlenecks in the process. Maybe some of the team members are taking a long time, they are doing certain redundant steps. So we can actually try to find out all those bottlenecks which is actually stopping us to achieve the result within the stipulated or the right time. And another thing is that because same process is being done by different people, different team members, even with different kind of scenarios, everybody might be doing it separately. So we also want to see how is this process changing with each instance, what are the different variations, how are the decisions being changed at various levels. So all this something which task mining can help you discover. And why we are doing it is because ultimately we are trying to improve how we can reduce the monotonous work that the team members are doing and give them actually more strategic time to spend time on things that are really their core. That's what we are trying to do ultimately. So in terms of our understanding of how the work gets done, why we need to do that, that's also important to understand. Because if we don't have any kind of tools to actually do this, then we have to deploy certain resources to do an intensive discovery, understand each and every step that these people are really working on. So that sometimes might not be so scalable, because honestly, in real world, not every time is that a process follows just one way. There can be so many different ways of doing the same process. So to ensure we have scalability, it's good to have a tool doing it. The second thing is that I was already talking about the different variations. So if you're talking to one person, he might be telling you just one path of the process, but there might be some other paths that maybe one person is not able to tell you. Then you have to go to another person, then a third person. So you can actually avoid that if you have got a tool which is in place for you to start working. uh, Third thing is, though we want to understand the process, which is right, we also want to understand what are the bottlenecks, why we are not able to reach to a result. Sometimes what happens is there's such a long waiting time of one user waiting for an input from another user. So that's one of the bottleneck, and we can actually see if we can reduce that waiting time. And that's what this particular tool can help you highlight. And finally, uh, usually all these things are pretty governed by a lot of rules. So processes needs to comply to different standards. So if you are not actually doing a pragmatic approach of finding all these bottlenecks, maybe you have challenges in complying with your governance and security, specifically in insurance and some of the spaces banking. You have got a lot of security standards that you might adhere to. So with this, you can actually see if there are people who are not really complying to those standards. So that is all the reasons why it is important to do a discovery using a tool. Of course, there are certain times you have to do manual discovery as well, but a tool comes really handy and makes your discovery faster. So that's where we will introduce task mining. So just wanted to set context about what actually we are trying to discover and why we are discovering. So if we actually zoom into task mining, which I said, this is actually the entire business platform from UiPath. So it starts from discover, then we have got automate and operate, and we have got various tools that are aligned to each of these, I would say, levels. So from discover, today we are zooming into the task mining. So when we talk about task mining, we will talk about scaling desktop data collection. So which means that I'll talk about it in my next slides anyways. It is human in loop, actionable insights, and central governance. I'll just focus on each of them in my upcoming slides. But if I'm talking about the definition of task mining, so we have heard a lot about a task mining, which is a tool, what it actually does. So task mining is actually one tool which can go and sit on the employee system, and while they are working, they can actually capture what they are doing, which means that there is one employee who's doing a task, there's another employee who's doing the same task, third person, because of course, if they are delivering, you might need multiple people. You can actually install this task mining in their system, and whatever they are doing, you can capture that. You can capture all the traces of the task that they are performing using a recording client. You can actually also build it manually, but of course, if you use the capture task, which is pretty quick, so that's what this tool would do. And with that, you'll be able to understand how these processes are being delivered by each of the team member, what are the variations, and also we'll talk about if you want to really merge them together, if you want to find what is the common path within all these processes, then you can merge it. That's what task mining is. Any question from anybody so far?
Saloni, the slides are not moving at all. I think you.
Is it so?
Yep, yep.
Sorry, thanks for highlighting. Are you not on this slide? Because I can see the slide on the system.
So it just moved, like we are in 8th slide now. So it's just moved.
Is it a lag?
Yep,
Oh, okay. Okay. Then when I move, probably I'll wait for a couple of seconds so that Lokesh just let me know if I'm on the right slide. Would that work?
sure.
Thank you. Thanks for highlighting. So yeah, I'll just quickly touch upon them one more time. So what I was talking about, that the entire business platform for UiPath is categorized in three levels: discover, automate, and operate. And today we are talking about task mining. I hope you have picked up the definition we are talking from task mining. And that's where we are talking about four different aspects, which is this being a scalable desktop data collection tool. We've got human in loop, we've got actionable insights and central governance, which I'll talk about it in detail in my upcoming slides. Yeah. So moving on to the scalable collection, I think it has moved. So what does that mean? What is a scalable desktop desk data collection tool? So this tool, which sits on a system of an employee, actually captures as is process. It captures what they are doing, which makes it all the entire collection very quick and with all only a few resources involved, which means that it's the software that is on the employee system. He should not really spend time outside of his actual work. So when he's performing this task, you get all the traces on its own. He doesn't have to really spend extra time to collect all the ideas or the process. So it's a centrally managed data capture with no interruption to employee activities. So he can completely do the task that he's doing at his end. With that, we will be able to find out detailed metrics and workforce insights, which means that you will be able to understand how much time that particular user spent on a particular activity. In fact, it's so flexible that the user can say that probably you can only pick up data from one application. If you want to control that, I don't want you to go to probably my Teams chat while I am doing in between some chatting, you can actually stop that. So that flexibility is there. Or you can also count the actions, etc. So that's where all these detailed metrics would be provided once you have the trace ready. And finally, when I was talking about task variation visualizations, so because these processes are different, which team members are doing, you can find out that where the variation is happening, who's spending more time. Maybe, that particular person might need more training. He's new to that particular team. So all those variations you can actually capture with the tool. So when I say human in the loop, that's where I was saying that this tool actually gives power to the people to actually pick up what they want to do, what they don't want to do. So you can have same task being performed by different people. So you can actually assign which person should be actually monitored in terms of the task they are doing to find out his particular task and his insights. And when we have understood, then we can actually merge multiple tasks. So maybe we can see that one person is doing a part of the task, the other person is doing another part. So you actually can also merge all these traces so that you can have a final look at the entire end-to-end process. And finally, as I said, that once you have got the as is, you can actually also leverage it to create a 2B graph, which will help at least a developer or a solution architect to understand that what I need to do as part of this process. So that's all about, human in the loop. Talking about actionable insights. So we've been talking about capturing these traces, merging all of them together. But there are a lot of things that you can actually export your traces to. So this tool gives you flexibility to create a kind of a PDD. So, I'm sure business analysts would have come across this terminology for a developer based on which he or she gets the end tool. Once you have actually picked up the entire trace, sector, whatever entire into a items
Saloni, you're cutting badly.
already existing, and then you can go and modify that PDD as per your requirement. This particular tool also gives you ability to extract an XAML file, so which is create on the traces that you've captured. So this is a ready to use kind of modify it if you want to in a lot of different decisions. So that's where it helps developers to kickstart immediately if you have the traces already created. Though I have covered this as part of my previous session on Automation Hub. So once you have built those traces or analyzed a specific process, you already have understood that there is an idea that can actually be automated. So you can then take it to Automation Hub. So for those who did not attend the last session, Automation Hub is more of a tool where you can have all the ideas generated within the company using different methodologies, which can be manual or using these. You can actually hit all of them there with status. You can actually also calculate the ROI potential, everything in that's where this I can export it to Automation Hub to do the various other aspects that are linked to that particular application. Moving, there are a lot of us that have already been catered to in task mining, which is more of the security related aspects. To start with, particular tool has already ensured that all the data that has got the PI data masked, which is looking at certain finance related data on the applications would already be masked. You would not be having any kind of drive somebody's phone number, etc., being captured. Next thing is the next part about the control of what's.
Saloni, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Saloni. Yeah, the slides are not moving again. Been stuck again.
How about now? I can see pre-configured PII data masking.
Yep, now it moved. Yes. Yep.
Okay. I think there is quite a lot of lag, so I'll have to wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. So I think we all understood on the pre-configured PI data task mining, like masking of all the confidential information. Have PI really already takes care of that. Then moving on to the next aspect is that you can control what you want to capture. So that's what I was highlighting, that you can actually stop this tool to capture any application which you feel is not required for the process. So you maybe want to stop collecting emails. You may want to stop certain chats on Teams. So you can actually keep these applications out of all the traces that you're building. And those of you who are familiar with UiPath, I think you would already know about the tenant, which is like a house that is created for specific users. You can actually have tenants that can divide different houses, like you can have finance team in one, you can have HR team in one, depending on how is your confidentiality within the team, like how much data you want to move out of the tenants. So these processes or traces, you can actually keep it at a tenant level, so that if you don't want others to have a look, then you can just avoid it. Then moving on, this encryption, whatever is done, is at rest and transit. So which means that all the data that you have captured is encrypted and decrypted. So there is a lot of security even at that front. I'll pause here to understand if there are any questions so far, and then I'll move to the next slide. I hope the context of what we are trying to understand as part of the task mining as a discovery tool, why we are doing this discovery, and what all we are trying to discover as part of the entire process. Okay, I'll move on if there are no further questions. So who are the users of this particular tool? So if you look at the entire discovery, it's most important for the people who are business analysts. There are COEs or automation leaders who are actually trying to encourage people to give a lot of data within the organization, or will probably share ideas, etc. That's what these people can help you do all these cost analysis, as well as doing the ROI, and also talk to management to take certain decisions to do the automations. So these are people who would be really interested in understanding what are these processes where we have bottlenecks, what are these processes where we actually need automation. So this tool is really beneficial for them. as a business analyst. Like I personally have done a lot of business analysis in my career, so I think, if there are certain tools that can help me understand a process at that level, which can help me capture what are the bottlenecks, if it can really create a PDD for me at screenshots level, very easy for me to start my discovery and then the design. So it overall reduces a business analyst time to do process documentation, to understand the requirement, etc. And in terms of automation developers, because I was saying that this tool creates a XAML, so it is a quick thing for any developer to at least pick up the activities and libraries that are created and then further refine it based on the requirement. And at the end, for employees, see, honestly, based on my experience working on the processes, employees are really enthusiastic about all these changes because they want to give away all the manual work they are doing. So when you talk to them, they're pretty excited about sharing all the requirements. So ultimately, they're the ones we are giving benefit to. So they also feel happy about task mining, where it doesn't really impact their existing productivity. They can continue doing that task. And a lot of times they really don't want to share any, client data or any personal data which are in their system. So because this tool is having a lot of GDPR compliance as well as privacy compliance, it really doesn't hamper their process overall. Now, I'll just touch upon a few things about how UiPath task mining works, but then I'll pass it on to Lokesh to show the real demo on the product itself. So in terms of task mining, we can actually divide it into 4 different levels. One is discover, which means that this is the level where we can deploy this tool in the user's machine or any employee's machine to capture the key level, keystroke level activities that he's doing. So there can be multiple steps, multiple decisions that he's taking as part of the entire process. You can capture that. And with that, what we want to attain is that we want to collect different metrics to find out how much is the time he has taken, how many people are involved, what is actually the right time to finish this, what is the wait time. So all these metrics you can collect with this discovery. And why we want to do that? Because we want to first of all understand or visualize. It's more of a process map that is created. It can help you understand the process much better, and then you can find out various patterns and see where the systems are different in one trace or the other, etc. And ultimately, what are we trying to achieve? We actually want to reduce or improve our process. That's the reason we are actually doing the discovery and understanding all these patterns, so that we can maybe, even before we start automating, we can reduce or remove certain redundant steps. So I was talking about even transformation. So this gives you an opportunity also to have a closer look at the process and see that if you can actually change a few things to make this process much more efficient or optimized. And finally, you can monitor all these things. So when I'm talking about monitoring, so you have got optimizations of bots, and then you can also look at people about how they are doing their work. You can continuously monitor it on an ongoing basis. So that's how task mining works functionally. But of course, we'll have you look at the real product in a couple of minutes. Uh, One thing which has been there for a couple of years, so there is now assisted and unassisted task mining. So that's the difference about how actually each of them is being used. Any questions, or I can continue?
Sorry, Sarani, the slides are still not moving. I think it's still in the preview mode. It's not in the preview mode, so that's why you can only see that like the slides are moving. So I think if you
Can you
press on
see
your
this difference between assisted and
yep,
unassisted
now
task
it
mining?
moved. Yes, yep.
Thanks, Lokesh. Okay, so typically how we differentiate between these two task mining, so it's pretty much similar, but how we actually differentiate about which tool to pick up for each kind of process. So when you actually know the process and you know that you want to mine a known process, some user to actually capture this, you use an assisted task mining, which means that there is a user who's kind of helping you create that particular trace. You use task mining, but where you really don't need an active participation of any user and you've got the entire setup ready, etc., you use unassisted task mining. And usually when it is assisted task mining, what happens is that it is a user who triggers the recording of the task manually. So you have that particular capture task or trace, that's where it is actually triggered by a user. So you have a mechanism where you can actually start, you can pause, and do various different actions while the task is being mined. But whereas if it is unassisted, you don't have to worry, it just runs at the background and users can continue doing their task, and then the task mining keeps on moving and then keeps on picking up wherever somebody clicks some button, or he enters something on the keyboard. So it just picks all those things, and you don't need any person to actually monitor what's being recorded, etc. You don't need to stop, pause, etc. It just continuously moves on. So as I said, from a scope perspective, it is usually used on tasks and processes that you're already aware of, that that you want to really mind that and understand that in detail. Whereas unassisted task mining is there to pick up those where you don't know the process. The reason being because there are multiple variations within the process. So you have got multiple people really capturing that. So that's where unassisted task mining comes handy. In terms of visibility, I think it's pretty similar. So you have full control over what you are capturing, so you can start, stop wherever you want, so that if you don't want to capture a certain aspect of the work that you're doing, you can stop it. But in terms of unassisted task mining, because the data collection is happening at the background, you still have the flexibility to leave some applications out of that particular trace that you're creating, but you cannot stop in between or pause in between, because it will continuously kind of capture what you're doing. That's from the visibility aspect. Of course, from a use case perspective, certain use cases might be more useful to be picked up based on the assisted task mining. Some of them might be more ideal for unassisted task mining, where you want to discover more of inefficiencies or opportunities for automation. So in task mining, that you really want to already discover process where that you want to automate it. Unassisted is where you still want to understand, deep dive into different variations of the process before you idealize or finalize that this is the idea I want to pick. So that's the difference. That's where I will now pass it on to Lokesh to share his screen. I'm sorry for the lag. I'm not sure why it was not moving, because it was pretty smooth in my end. But Lokesh, over to you to share your screen and then share the actual product.
Yep. It's not letting me to share my screen. If you can.
Yeah, I can make you the host. One second.
Yep, sure.
Can you just check, Lokesh, if you can now do?
No, still haven't got the access yet.
Can you should allow? Okay, let me stop sharing now. Does
Yep.
it allow you?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
share now.
Thanks.
Yep. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Saloni, for the quick demonstration of what is automation. Sorry, task mining, and how we can you leverage task mining to do the business, like process discovery, and how we can leverage those discovery to deep dive into, make it into the documentation, and we can use that discovery to build the automation end to end. So uh, to get into hands-on how we can use the task mining, and before that we can see where we can find the task mining. So this is automation cloud, UiPath cloud orchestrator, where you can simply go into the administration and go to the specific tenant level, where you have these services, and you can see here the task mining. So different services the UiPath provides to us: orchestrator, AI Center, automation hub, test mining manager, document understanding, and task mining. So you just need to enable that specific um, enable that specific activity service. And so you can also manage this access, like you can share this access to different users and such. uh, and also where you can go into the task mining here. And here we have the project panel, where you can start creating the projects. And once you create on start new project, so now we can look into so just give some random name, uh, web task mining testing. And so this is, give some random name, what's that project referring to, um, and just give a context of the project. And you can make it as a advanced options. We have something called unassisted task mining. So first we will look into the assisted task mining. For if you want to enable the unassisted task mining, you just need to click on enable. You just need to enable this unassisted task mining, so that it can work on background, and it can record the whatever steps you are working on in the background, and you can simply start working on the foreground. But as of now, start first we'll use the unassisted assistant task mining. And yeah, just so we just don't need to enable that unassisted task mining, and click on next. And so here you can invite a user whom you want to invite to do the recording. I will, let's say, I'll just invite Lokesh myself, or you can invite Saloni or someone, whoever they want to use this recording and record the whole process. So you can simply invite those them, and so that they can use this task mining in their machine and start recording the process. And once I edit the user, just click on done. So it will ask us to create a process. So now it will give you the capture and build trace. So you can use either of them to capture the trace of the automation process. So now I will simply, I have this UiPath task mining installed in my machine. um, if you don't have that machine, even there is something using the unassisted task mining, you can, it will simply send you the recording installation installation guide, and it will, and the package as well, so you can simply install that in your machine. So now I have already UiPath task mining already installed in my machine. So now using the capture trace, I can use different machines. So I can select an existing project, which is task mining testing, which we created just now. So, and click on next. And we can start creating, recording the automation process, day-to-day work, day-to-day tasks, what you are doing so far. So let's say, what we gonna do now is, before recording, so let's say my day-to-day task is logging to the ACME application. Let's say logging into a ACME application. And going into the work items and searching some specific work item, and make, update the, this, update the status of this specific item, and make it as, and add comments. So let's say this is my day-to-day task in my work. So we have to automate this one, and we see like what are the paths we are taking for every process, and so that the automation will capture those steps and will give you, okay, these are the steps you are following to automate this specific application. And let's say this is one single path which I am doing. Let's say there are 5 to 10 other paths in to do this specific part in my day-to-day work. So let's say, it will create multiple traces, and you can use them to merge into single trace, and you can create a automation flow or PDD from using the traces. So let's start our initial recording. So now let me close. Okay, now I'll start recording. Mm, so it will give it, as I mentioned, name mentioned, it is assisted mining. So it will be in the side of application which you are using, and it will keep on capturing. Let's see, if I click on, it will keep on taking the keystrokes and mouse actions and what are the applications open so far. So if you can see here, I clicked on the email and it captured this email screen. And if I type into, even it is capturing each and every step I am doing. And yep, so I just logged into ACM application and clicked on work items. See here, it is capturing each and every action what I've been doing. And you can, let's say I just search this specific action and updated this work item, just making yes testing, and status says completed, and update work item. And I have to go back to other work item and do the same thing. So this is the repetitive work. So this is best case for the automation. And doing the testing again, I just need to reject this one, update the work item. Okay, and close this one, and I'll go to some random page, and yeah, same thing. Just search for that action, update the work item, add the comments, and mark the status as completed, and update the work items. So now, and clicking on logout, so then the work is done. So now the task capture will record all the steps, all the actions which I performed, either the keystrokes and mouse clicks, and what are the screens so far I interacted with, and it will give you the whole flow. So you can see here the total 46 actions so far I did, and it is uploading into the cloud. So you can see here it is uploading the whole flow in the cloud. So you can see that first trace is, so you can see here the time as well, and it is uploading into the cloud. So you can see what are the steps so far I covered. Like you can see here, ACME login, Chrome, click on dashboard, and going to the work items, and yeah, ACME system work items, updating the work items and stuff like that. So these are, you can see all the actions we performed so far. So you can see here I have clicked on that work item, updated that work item. So all the mouse actions and the screens we touched so far, it is recorded using that task mining, task capture. And let's say if you want to, let's say this is one path. Let's say there is one more path you are working on, like updating those um, updating these work items. There is one more path, and you have to capture that path as well. So let's say let's record one more path, and let me start the recording. And I just want to log in again. And same work, I'm going to the work items, and clicking on the search and update the work items. Testing and the status completed. Update work items. Okay, and click on close. And let me open one more. Update the work items. Testing. Update the status as rejected. Update the work items. Okay, and click on close. And then I want to download a report. Let's say research copy client, and download the check request, and just closing this application again and update the request. Download it and completed. Update the work item. Okay, and go back to work items again, and I'll capture one more W2 item, which is just, and download the check request and download this one and save this copy. And going back, updating, and downloaded, updated as downloaded, sorry, completed, and update the work items. So here what I did was I took different approach. Like this path is completely different. Now my work is completely changed. Like there is some changes where I am downloading some requests and updating it as downloaded. So the first path is completely just updating the work items, but in the second path I have to do some checks and update the work items. So now if I end the process, I have 55 actions now. And if I can go into here, so here we can see here there are second trace it got created. So, and you can also see there are different uh, different steps it is taking. And now the fun part is we can merge these two traces into one single trace, so that we can build a flow out of that. Like let's say if I want to merge, auto merge, and you can see here, okay, these are the actions you performed so far. So this is merge between first trace and second trace, and we are merging these two traces and making it as one single trace. So you can see here we logged into the ACME and we clicked on work items, and we have this work items page, and then there is some decisions making, and we have used the check request to download um, download few reports, and based on that it is making some decisions, and we are doing some check requests and stuff like that. So it is easy, like it records each and every trace, and you can merge those traces into uh, one single trace, and you can use that as a flow. And the easy thing also is, you once you done recording, you can also use this to create as a XAML. So where you can download this in the form of XAML file, and it will create a XAML file. So it is downloading the XAML file, and you can also create a image, and you can also use it as a PDD. So if you can download the PDD, so if I open this, yep, see here it created the PDD process, where you can see here the whole flow, and what are the actions it performed, what are the process names, and what are the screens it has touched so far. It will give you in the detailed form, so that you can make changes. Okay, these are the screens it touched, and these are the screen strokes, and and screens the bot is working on, and so that you can build a automation based on this documentation, and you can do the discovery using this automation, this documentation. And one more thing is, yeah, as I mentioned before, you can also download this in the form of uh, mm, XAML files, and you can use this in the studio and start developing. So you can start developing using this flow, so that you don't need to start from the scratch. It is already pre-built, so you can simply make changes according to the decisions. If you want to change to any decisions, you can do that decisions, and if you want to make any changes into the code, you can simply make the changes into the code. So that's how we use task mining as a assistant mode. Mm, hope this clears you. Like, is there any questions from anyone? Yep. I hope there are no any questions. Okay.
Task capture has to be installed on the desktop always.
Yes. Yep. It should be installed in the desktop. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, yep. Is there any other questions? If not, I can go back to unassisted task mining. Yep. I think silence is no questions. Okay. Yep. Okay, then we have this task capture, and you can also see what are the actions so far: mouse clicks 81, entries, and applications ACME test uapath.com. So this is the ACME application we are using, and you can simply use this flow to create a PDD, and it's still loading the studio. So yeah, you can also invoke it as a XAML file and make it as a base point to start your building the automation. Now let me go back and I'll create one more project. Now we will cover the unassisted task mining. So you can provide the name as unassisted task mining, and we can make it as task mining. Okay, now enabling this and enabling unassisted task mining, and click on next. And also invite users whom you want to use, whom they want to use this unassisted task mining in their machines, and they can start recording their work. You can invite different users, Lokesh, and yeah, me, yes. And also here you can add multiple applications, which application you want to use to record. For example, I'll use chrome.exe, and click on add. And I'll also add excel.exe, and add. Okay, then click on done. So and it will send you an the request has been sent. Okay. uh, okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, yep. So you got you are in the project inside. So now you can see here, we are in the project inside, and it is unnecessary task mining. And here you can simply go into the task capture, and if you can go into the mine multiple tasks, you can see here the admin of your organization has decided to start recording from another project, which is unassisted task mining. So what you need to do is you simply need to go into the mine multiple tasks, which is, this is referring to the unassisted task mining. You just need to simply click on this one, and you'll see what are the unassisted task mining activities, like in which project like you are added in. So now currently I'm added in the unassisted task mining project, so I can simply click on continue, and it is preparing the environment for me. and I can simply start recording. So as the name it mentioned, it is unassisted task mining. You can see here it is in a small little icon. So as I mentioned before, like I added two applications, Chrome and excel.exe. So those are the two applications which I am using to record. So now you can see here there is a dark gray symbol, which is so if you can see here a red green signal, then it is recording that specific application. But now I didn't mention the Edge browser. So now it is not recording any actions which I performed in this Edge browser. If I if I make changes to the Chrome, now see if I move it to the Chrome, so the now it is changed to the green. So that means that this specific application is being recorded. What are the steps I am performing in this specific application? The bot is recording, like the task mining is recording that specific steps in this application. And let me open this Teams. Then it is not, see, you can see that you can change, you can see the color is changing, like it is changing it to the gray. And if I open the Excel, because I added the Excel application to record, so now you can see here the um, recording is changed into the green. So that what are the specified applications I specified in the specific applications I specified in this unassisted task mining, it is getting recorded. So if I can click on this one and go to here and click on logout, and click on lokeshp@penix.com. So it is recording each and every step what I am performing in the background. So you don't need to see what whether it is capturing it or not, like that. So what are the actions you're performing on that specific application? It is recording each and every step. And once it is done, you just need to, if let's say you done it for 1 hour and you have to pass it for, and you have to do lunch or something like that, I just simply click on the pass, and you can pass it for 1 hour or 30 minutes, so that you don't need to you don't need to you know and you can do another actions as well. You can perform something other unwanted tasks, and you just need to don't record that one in the Google. So you just simply need to click on pause, and you can pause it for an hour or half an hour, or how many minutes you are doing that work on. Based on that, you can pass that recorder. And let me, and it will hold on the recording, and you can get back to the work and come back and start recording again. And also here you can see it is been passed. You can see here this specific user has started recording, and last active 9 seconds ago, and his recording is still passed, and he can see what are the things he captured so far. And you can add multiple people here, and so that you can see whoever process people are using this recording, and using this application and doing the recording. And you can see what are the paths they are doing that specific work on. And then once you're done with the recording, you can click on stop recording. So it will give you, okay, these are the recordings, these are the results so far we recorded. You can see here it is exported, the total time it is recorded, and Microsoft Excel, UiPath, and these are the tools, these are the activities, these are the applications he used so far. You can see everything here. um, and also the teams, you can also see here the settings. As mentioned, Saloni, there are some, if while recording there might be some PA data coming in, so you can mask those PA data using here, apply PA masking, and record different apps. Let's say I added like Chrome and Excel, so even I can deny these things so that it can move into. So if I just want to record the Excel, then I can deny this Chrome, and simply it will only record Excel activities. So yeah, that's how we do the recording using unassisted task mining. And you can export these dashboard results, and analyze those results using the um, with the business BAs, and what are the ROAs and stuff we can calculate using this unassisted task mining activities. Yep, I hope this cleared you the difference between assisted and unassisted task mining. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much as I yeah. And one more thing, I forgot to mention, like, so using the assisted task mining, we got the flow, right, and these are the recordings, these are the actions it performed so far, and you can see it open the Google Chrome, and what are and it it gave all the activities you used, like keystrokes and everything. So based on that, it built the automation by itself. So you simply just make some changes and tweaks based on the flow you want to build on, and simply and publish that. That's pretty as easy as possible. So yeah, that's pretty much, I think. Hope you guys have got clear understanding of what is task mining. Is there any questions from anyone?
About the automation hub recording, I'll send to all of you. So this is something where we can go back in the Adelaide chapter and you can see the recording. Apologies, I think I would check if I had flipped my presentation. I hope you could still follow it. And then I see a question from Dilip. Are there well-known frameworks for task mining? Dilip, can you elaborate if you're on call? What do you mean by elaborate frameworks? I don't see him actually on call. Probably he has moved out. Yeah. And Krishna, are you uploading this recording? So yes, whenever we finish any kind of sessions, you have to go back to the chapter and the recording is available. Maybe there can be a lag of couple of days, but it comes on that particular UiPath chapter itself. Hope that answers. And Krishna, to you and Rohini, I will send you the link for the automation hub. Okay. Anything else? Okay. If we are good, thanks a lot, Lokesh. Thanks a lot for helping navigating through the entire product. I hope team actually had good insights into this overall in terms of functional as well as the demonstration. Lokesh, any further comments?
Yep, I think, yeah, that's yeah, task mining is, like, a pretty handy tool. So yeah, we can use this to build process like discovery, and it's pretty easy for the business analyst to map all the screens. So individually is capturing each individual screen, it's best tool to map it out with easy click on recording and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thanks, Lokesh. And we have got a couple of more sessions coming up in next a few weeks. Feel free to join that, and happy to answer any questions. Feel free to send it to me or Lokesh over mail. And yeah, I'm happy that people enjoyed the session.
Thank you very much. That was great, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.